In some cases, companies have tried to hide inflation by keeping their prices the same but reducing the size of their products. It's called shrinkflation, and news outlets love to cover this, usually with the help of what seems to be the one go-to expert on the topic.
Here you've got 2 bottles of Gatorade, and these have just changed in the past few months. This one is the old 32-ounce one. This one is 4 ounces less. They said they made it easier to grip. You know, give me a break.
Yeah! You tell him, Ed!
Oh my gosh.
Love him.
That's fantastic.
Love Edgar. Haven't even met him yet, but we're about to. He is a lawyer, a former TV consumer reporter, close to my heart. Used to be a consumer reporter myself. He was the Assistant Attorney General of Consumer Protection. He's a consumer advocate and a bargain hunter. His name is Edgar Dworsky, and he joins us now from Boston. He is Mr. Consumer. Thank you so much for doing this, Edgar.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're like a big star. John Oliver, oh my gosh.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh,
Well, what
I'm
you're
on her
doing,
team.
God bless
I
you
was
for
shocked.
doing what you're doing.
I had no idea he was going to do it.
Well, that just means that you have a reputation for looking out for consumers. And God knows we got to do that these days, because I was talking online this week to people about, have you seen examples of shrinkflation? People were sending me all kinds of photos. People are really mad about it. And I went to your website, consumerworld.org,
Yep.
and looked at some of the examples that seem particularly egregious. And I want you to just give us a little bit of information about each one of them. Let's start with Bounty. A lot of people buy
This
the
is
Bounty.
my brand. Edgar.
Well, people buy paper towels all the time, and they don't pay attention to the number of sheets on the roll. Bounty recently went from 98 sheets on a roll down to 90. You lost 8 or 9% of the roll. The rolls seem the same. You know, if you get an 8-roll package, it still has 8 rolls. But if you add up, you know, you're missing 8 on each of the rolls. It's like losing a whole roll in the package.
Wow, you know what? And even when I saw that graphic the first time, I didn't even see the difference. Like, we need to really look closely here.
Yeah, because
if you don't look at the net count, you're not going to know.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the shape of the bottle. So let's talk about Downey fabric softener.
Well, Downey fabric softener recently went from 51 ounces down to 44. So you lost, 7 ounces. But through the miracle of technology, the bottle still gives you 60 loads, so-called, according to Procter & Gamble. I've actually measured, and it's gotten down on some brands to just a tablespoon and a half goes in the cup. How many of us just fill up the cup and dump it into the washer? We're overusing it.
All the time. All the time.
What about cereal? Cereal boxes. You open the big box and the cereal you take out of it is this much?
Let me tell you, Kellogg's and General Mills and Post, they all kind of do the same thing. They keep shrinking the contents of the box, but the box looks the same size and sometimes even bigger. Here, Kellogg's Corn Pops went from 14.6 ounces to 13.1 ounces. The box got taller. How is that possible? It's actually narrower. I really wonder, how are these things going to stand up on the shelf anymore? They're getting so narrow.
Exactly, right? Now, the one that really bugs me are potato chips, because we're potato chip fans here on Steel and Vance. And it seems like, you know, you buy the bag, and the bag is the giant family size, and you finally crack it open, and it looks like there's maybe 8 chips inside. Kettle chips, one of my favorites. What are they doing?
Well, there's more air than chips in most bags. Kettle chips went from 8.5 ounces to 7.5 ounces. But this has been constant. If you think of Lay's potato chips, you know, once upon a time, we had 16-ounce bags. Then they went to 15 and 14 and 13 and 12. And finally, they decide, oh, we should bring back the big size. Let's give it a fancy name. We'll call it party size. So now they're naming the sizes. And that's a little trick that manufacturers using on cereal, on chips. If you buy by size name, you're not paying attention to the net weight. You got to pay attention.
What about the things that are a little bit sneakier even, like the Wishbone?
The salad dressing.
Wishbone salad dressing, that's an example of skimp shrinkflation,
Right,
where they've literally watered down the product. They're skimping on something. What are they skimping on here? They're skimping on the oil. You can see the one on the left has a lot more oil than the one on the right. What did they do? They watered it down. They added some extra water and salt. They've saved money, and you're getting a weaker salad dressing. Probably not as tasty.
Right? How annoying. And I want Derek put up the picture of the Dove body wash.
Right.
Because over the years, the bottle is changing shape and it's getting slimmer. And it's super frustrating to me because as a consumer, you think, oh, this is just, the 2024 packaging. But it's really designed to kind of trick you into realizing you're paying more for less.
Well, you see new and improved or something on there, but I'm pretty sure as improved as their bottom line. Mm-hmm. What you saw here is going from 24 ounces to 22 ounces to 20, but maybe take a package change as a signal or new and improved. What does that mean? You take a look, double check the net weight. That's really a tip off to a product change in size.
We just had Easter. Of course, Easter chocolates are all the rage, right? You love to get a chocolate. I remember when I was a kid, those bunnies were solid. That's not, what's happening? Even
they've been hollow for a long time, I think.
They've been hollow
right?
for a long I know, well, I'm aging myself, but what are we seeing? Look at this.
And Halloween candy too. Is it just getting smaller, smaller, smaller?
See, one of the problems with these annual candies, no one has a visual memory. You can remember that your Hellmann's mayonnaise is 30 ounces.
Right.
But do you really remember that bag of Halloween candy that had all different types of Hershey's chocolates in there? It had Reese's and little Hershey bars and all these other things. You don't remember the size. So it's very easy for the manufacturer to tinker with the size, give you less for maybe even more money these days because of inflation. You can't win.
No, you can't win. And right now in North America, consumers are feeling the squeeze with grocery prices. Too high. We don't have enough money. We're not getting bigger paychecks, and yet we're paying more at the grocery store. What can we do as consumers to either fight back or be smarter?
Well, we all have to be more net weight conscious. When you're down to that last can or bottle or package, note what the net weight is. So when you go to the store, you can recognize if there's a change or not. Isn't the perfect scam the one where you don't even know you were taken? Yeah. Pay attention. Think about using an alternative. If your size, if your brand has gotten smaller, maybe a competitor hasn't, and certainly the store brand tends to be the last one to change. Also use unit pricing, the price per ounce or price per gram. Or per liter that's on the shelf. That's the real equalizer. So you can really figure out which is the best deal of all the different sizes and products there.
What are we running through consumerworld.org? Tell us about your website.
Well, I've been a consumer advocate for 46 years, 47 years. I started when I was 12, I like to say.
Of course.
And I basically have a weekly news summary, shopping tips, bargains of the week. What are some of the big news stories coming up? I do one original article in mouse print. And actually on Monday and for the next 2 Mondays, I'm going to have a new group of 12 downsized items. So if you like seeing some of these and want to see more, go to consumerworld.org Monday morning first thing, and you'll see a new half dozen right there.
Love it. And when I was a consumer reporter, I learned that there are not that many people out there, reporters, government officials, organizations that are looking out for the consumer. So thank you for doing what you're doing. But I understand, according to this beautiful profile on you in the New York Times, that part of the reason that this appeals to you is that you inherited the cheap gene from your dad.
My father was a cheapskate. I would go to his place, and for breakfast, I swear he was measuring the milk I was pouring in my cereal with his micrometer eyes, is what I called them. And for breakfast, you got half a napkin, not a whole napkin. Dinner, you got a whole napkin. Breakfast, you got a half.
That's funny.
I'll tell you, my husband will drive miles for $1.50 saving on his coffee.
Right?
He's very frugal, Brian. I know you're watching right now. I love your frugal side, my darling. But it's great to have somebody who knows how to look out for that. in the grocery store. I think that's a great tip, to look at the small print and also look at the labeling on the aisle to compare prices. So thank you for what you're doing, Edgar.
And you're delightful,
my
too.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thanks
for joining
meeting you
us.
both.
Love it. Really appreciate it. That is Edgar Dworsky. He is Mr. Consumer, and his website is
consumerworld.org.
Check it out.
Loved it.
It was
Okay.
fun.
Hey, coming up in the show, speaking of fun, we're diffusing some pre-playoff tension. Canucks fans get their favorite, having some props that really feels good in our happy endings.
All right, and up next, do not disturb. Teens today have developed a phobia for phone conversations. We'll tell you more about that.
And it's viewing party time, of course. Who might win that $100 gift card for Romer's or Steamship? Is it Maureen in Marpole?
Or is it Peter and Nancy in New Westminster?
Is it Randy in Souk?
Maybe it's Rob and Janice in Nanaimo.
Could be. Well, you'll have to stick around to the end of the show to find out who won this week. And if you want to get in on it next week, take a picture of you watching us, send it to viewingparty@chekmedia.ca, brought to you by the BCRFA.